Hello and welcome to the news on Enyimba TV. We are reaching you from the commercial city of Aba in Abia State, Nigeria. First, the headlines. Abia State government restricts tricycle and motorcycle operational time between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. effective July 1. Abia State University Teaching Hospital staff protest non-payment of April and May wages plus 21-month salary arrears. Federal Executive Council steps down minimum wage memo to allow President Tinubu to consult state governors. Thanks for joining us on the news at this time. I am Mary Ihejirika. Now the news in details. Abia State government has restricted the operational time of motorcycles and tricycles in the state from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Addressing a press conference in Umuahia, Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Prince Uzonwachuku, said the measure is a painful but necessary decision to curb pockets of robbery and criminal activities in parts of the state. The commissioner, who was flanked by his information counterpart, Prince Okekano, among other top government officials and leadership of tricycle and motorcycle unions in the state, appealed to members of the public to adjust and comply with the directive. The restriction will take effect from July 1st in all major council areas of Umuahia and Aba Metropolis. Former acting head of service, Abia State, and immediate past permanent secretary, Ministry of Environment, Lady Joy Madoka, who was recently retired by Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti, has slammed 100 million naira suit against two Facebook users, Ngokuku mascot Nnamdi and Bethel Agbara, for alleged libel. She claimed that the defendants wrote on their Facebook walls that she was sacked for allegedly embezzling 20 million naira and diverting 13 million naira respectively, a publication she said was false. In the suit filed before Abia State High Court sitting in Umuahia, the former head of service claimed that the malicious and libelous publication by the defendant had exposed her to public scandal, odium and ridicule. She therefore sought 100 million naira costs against the defendant and an order of the court compelling the defendant to tender unreserved apology to the claimant in two national newspapers. Enyimba TV News gathers that the head of service, Mrs. Queen Obioma, had in a circular dated June 14, 2024, directed the former PEMSEC to proceed on compulsory retirement with immediate effect. No reason was, however, adduced for the directive, but the HOS stated that the action was sequel to a directive by the governor. Medical and health workers at the Abia State University Teaching Hospital, ABSUT, yesterday embarked on a protest march to press home their requests for the payment of their April and May salaries, while also demanding the payment of their accumulated 21-month salary arrears. The protesters, who decried their plight over the prevailing economic hardship, threatened to embark on indefinite strike if the government fails to respond to their plight. The chairman of the Medical and Health Workers Association Union ABSUT branch, Chukwemeka Ariwodo, and the chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association NMA Abia State branch, Dr. Isaiah Abali, expressed pain over the development. Meanwhile, Chairman NMA Abia State, Dr. Abali, in a telephone chat with Enyimba TV News, said the workers started receiving their May salary after the protest. Abia State House of Assembly has screened the nominees of the Abia State House of Assembly Service Commission. This is sequel to a letter which was sent to the House and made known during plenary by the Speaker, Emmanuel Emerowa, requesting the House to screen and confirm the nominees. The Abia State House of Assembly Service Commission members designate are Honorable Uchechukwu Nnamdi Madako as the chairman of the committee, Honorable Destiny Akaraka, Mrs. Grace Ibe, and others as members. The Speaker, Right Honorable Emmanuel Emerowa, admonished the nominees to exercise their duties without fear or favor, while noting that they are the first to head the commission. River State government says it is searching for a man who attempted to detonate an explosive near Hotel Presidential in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The incident occurred earlier Tuesday, with many suggesting that the unidentified man was part of a group of people participating in a political rally. He sustained severe injuries during the failed attempt and was quickly taken away from the scene by others. Speaking in Port Harcourt, the River State Commissioner for Health, Adeze Ore, called for the arrest of any patient with injuries suspected to be caused by explosives. Still on River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara is calling on his supporters to remain steadfast amidst the political developments in the state. Governor Fubara said this during an address to the House of Representatives Committee on Ports and Harbours, which visited him at the Government House in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. He assured them that the current phase of the crisis will equally pass. He expressed gratitude to the committee members for their efforts to upgrade the Port Harcourt and One ports as well as Bonny Channel in the state. Political leaders in Obio, Akpo local government area of River State, have staged a protest in support of Nyeso Wike, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, FCT. The march was led by Ogundu Chinda, Minority Leader of the House of Representatives, Martins Ameula, former Speaker of the River State House of Assembly, and George Ariolu, former Council Chairman. The protesters are calling on the Inspector General of Police to maintain a presence in the councils and resist any intimidation. Elsewhere, hundreds of youths under the auspices of the Nigerian Youth Council of Nigeria, NYCN, took a peaceful protest against the caretaker committee arrangement for local government areas to the headquarters of the police in River State. The youth, who kicked against using caretakers to run the councils, thanked the Inspector General of Police and the State Commission of Police for maintaining neutrality in the political crisis in the state. A deputy comptroller of the Nigeria Customs Service, Andrew Asen, died after collapsing while being questioned by the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts. Mr. Asen, who was in charge of revenue in the Customs Account Unit, was answering questions about customs revenue when he coughed and requested water. He requested for water and was struggling to open the bottle of water in front of him. Before he could be helped to open the water by his colleague, the officer collapsed and was rushed to the National Assembly Clinic, where he was pronounced dead. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has denied claims that the 10th Senate was proposing the procurement of new aircraft for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima. Akpabio, who addressed journalists in Maiduguri during a condolence visit to Senator Tahiru Munguno over the death of his father, said the claim was from propagandist and fifth columnist. He added that the Senate was focused on delivering legislation that will support the actualization of President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Meanwhile, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi is appealing for calm following the invasion of the party headquarters by members of the National Transition Committee set to take over the Nigeria Labour Congress. The former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, who attended the National Working Committee (NWC) of the party, played down on the party's internal crisis, saying they were all working from a united front. He also commented on the reported reconciliation between the party and its estranged former leaders, led by former Deputy National Chairman Lamidi Apapa, insisting that the move was for its greater good. Members of the Nigeria Labour Congress National Transition Committee stormed the headquarters of the Labour Party in Abuja, demanding the immediate resignation of the National Chairman Julius Abure. The committee was put in place by the NLC Political Commission to reposition the Labour Party 2 months after the Congress voided the re-election of Julius Abure and members of the National Working Committee. Acting chairman of the Transition Committee, Abdulwahid Omar, led members of the Labour Union to the Secretariat, chanting solidarity songs and calling for the resignation of Abure on grounds that his tenure as the chairman of the party had expired. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris is appealing to media owners and journalists in the country not to amplify the nefarious activities of terrorists, bandits and other non-state actors striving to distort and destabilize peace, economic growth and sustainable development. The minister made this appeal while declaring open a 2-day capacity building on effective reporting towards strengthening alternatives to terrorist ideology organized by National Counter-Terrorism Center in Abuja. He also noted that terrorism is not merely a physical threat, but also an ideological battle of the mind with the extremist groups. The shooting of tear gas canisters by the security operatives mounted at the entrance of the secretariat, however, prevented the demonstrators from forcing their way into the premises. Federal government has banned the use of single-use plastics across all ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs. Single-use plastic, otherwise known as disposable plastic, is any plastic item that is used once and then thrown into the trash. Addressing State House correspondent after the Federal Executive Council, Minister of State for Environment, Isiaq Adekunle Salako, said the single-use plastic ban aligns with the government's broader plastic waste management strategy. He also said the MDA's ban is a preparation towards tackling the menace of plastics across the country. President Bola Tinubu has approved the establishment of a cabinet committee to oversee the Emergency Operations Center led by the National Center for Disease Control in response to the ongoing cholera outbreak in Nigeria. The coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pate, revealed this after the Federal Executive Council at the Villa. He noted that the Cabinet Committee will complement efforts from state government to reduce open defecation, as tackling cholera requires a multi-sectoral approach. The committee will comprise members from the Ministries of Health, Finance, Water Resources, Environment, Youth, Aviation and Education. Federal Executive Council has stepped down from consideration and deliberation on the MEMO on the new minimum wage to allow President Bola Tinubu to engage in more consultation with stakeholders. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents on the decisions taken at the council meeting. He said the president has studied the report submitted by the Tripartite Committee on Minimum Wage and would consult further before a final submission on a new national minimum wage to the National Assembly. You're watching Enyimba TV News. After the short break, the news continues with foreign, business and sports updates. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. Now the news continues. We begin with foreign. Police fired on demonstrators trying to storm Kenya's legislature, and at least 5 protesters were shot dead, with sections of the parliament building set ablaze as lawmakers inside passed the bill to raise taxes. Enyimba TV News gathers that in chaotic scenes, protesters overwhelmed police and chased them away in an attempt to storm the parliament compound, with protesters managing to enter the Senate chamber. Police opened fire after tear gas and water cannons failed to disperse the crowds. Kenya's army has been deployed to support the police in controlling what the government termed security emergency. Meanwhile, Kenyan President William Ruto vowed to take a tough line against violence and anarchy after protests against his government's proposed tax hikes turned deadly and demonstrators ransacked parliament. And on business, federal government on Tuesday declared that there was no importation of dirty fuel into Nigeria, countering the recent position of an official of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. He declared this after meeting with oil marketers and local refiners of crude oil in Abuja, where parties at the meeting discussed issues about refined product pricing, issues of competition, and the importation of products that are produced in Nigeria. Also at the meeting, oil marketers stated that though local refineries were producing some of the refined products, this would not stop marketers from patronizing other sources while also buying products from the indigenous producers. Speaking through the Nigerian Mainstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, reacting to claims of dirty fuel importation to Nigeria, the government stated that refined petroleum products with high sulfur content were last imported in February, stressing that these had since been addressed by the regulator. And finally, from sports, Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) has debunked speculation that the football body is talking with former Ivory Coast national team coach Hervé Renard to fill the vacant Super Eagles coaching job. Hervé Renard is the first foreign coach to win the Africa Cup of Nations with two different countries, first with Zambia in 2012 and then with Ivory Coast in 2015. He is currently the head coach of the France women's national team, but he had said he would step down from the role at the end of the Paris Olympics this summer. This means that Renard will be available for the vacant Super Eagles of Nigeria coaching job if the NFF decides to go for him. With a sports story, we wrap up this edition of news on Enyimba TV at this time. But before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. In the news, we told you Abia State government has restricted tricycle and motorcycle operational time between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. effective July 1. We also told you Abia State University Teaching Hospital staff protest non-payment of April and May wages plus 21-month salary arrears. And we told you that the Federal Government Council has stepped down minimum wage memo to allow President Tinubu to consult governors. That's our package of news for now. Please join us for more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Thank you for watching. On behalf of the production team, I am Mary Ihejirika saying, do have yourself an amazing day.